Hello everyone! Today we're doing another episode of Food Animals. If you're new and you don't know what Food Animals is, or just never watched that series, it is kind of old. Food Animals is basically when I take an animal, and then when I take a food, and then I mix them together. It doesn't actually have to be a food, it could be like a sweet or a fruit as well. But food just goes more well with the title. Now that that's out of the way, let's see the menu, because I'm kind of curious what we got here. Oh. All these things are shit. Well, now that's out of the way, let's get to the cutting board. So the first thing I got was, well, a watermelon bat. It was definitely an idea, and I had some ideas across my head. It's definitely something that would go on the more basic side, I think. The second thing I got was actually a red velvet cake and a hyena. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this, and I generally have no clue. So please pray for me. Anyways, let's get to drawing. So the first thing I got was obviously the watermelon bat, and I had a pretty simple idea in my head. Just like add some watermelon prints to a bat. It was lazy, yes, but maybe the lazy thing is what you gotta go for sometimes. I basically made the bat's torso into like the part of the watermelon you would see outside before you cut it all up. Because as you know, some people call the torso like the core, as your heart is there. I also decided to make a horizontal pattern where the fluff would go from light green to dark green to light green to dark green, representing the patterns of the watermelon. I also made the ears into like the outside and the inside of the watermelon. The inside of the ears being, well, the red color you would find, and then the outer parts that would be protecting the insides would be, well, green, because that's just how watermelons are. I also had the idea to make like the eyes into seeds. I scrapped it at the time because I thought it looked kind of weird, but now I think I should have kept it because it would have been really cool. But oh well, things get scrapped. Really is a bummer though. Would have been nice if I kept it. I'm also going to be so honest, I struggled so much with the wings. You won't see it here as it skips immediately to how I actually got it correct, because the speed rating didn't pick up the undos, so it just skips directly to what I got. But I struggled a lot with the wings, because bat wings are really hard to draw. I wish they weren't, but they just are. At least in my opinion. Basically for the inside of the wings, I kept it like the inside of the watermelon colors is, and I also made the parts where I don't know what it's called, but where like the strings pop up to like support the wings. I also made those parts green. You'll see them later. I also made the inside of the wings and the tail thing have seeds. Also the head. You could think this means that the head is actually skinned. Anyway, you're welcome for putting that into your mind. Yippee! I was thinking to get rid of the little bat pig kind of nose, and then I realized, you know what? Some things in your drawings just gotta not look so aesthetically pleasing. Unless it's your whole thing, then yeah. But adding something that adding something people might find ugly just shows that it's kind of realistic, because not everyone's going to like what you do, and if someone thinks that what you're doing is, well, wrong or weird, then who the hell cares? Unless it's harming people, do whatever you want. That's my little message for you guys today. Yay. What I also did with the wings was made like do different shades of like red and like put it in a kind of like a color changing way. I thought it looks cool. You can be the judge of that, though. Really, because, you know, I'm making these drawings for your entertainment. So, judge however you want. I want to see your opinions on these, because it's always interesting, even though you guys can never do it. I also made a lot of heart seeds because I wanted to be all cutesy and shit. Yeah, that's the only reason why I added the hearts. I guess you can also complain because, like, you know, Valentine's was yesterday, but it was mostly because I just wanted to do it. Hearts are nice to do. I like drawing hearts. You know, the only thing I do wish was that I played around with the proportions more. Maybe I made like this body more rounder, like the chest and head more circular, so it would look more like a watermelon. But you know, it's fine. You can't really change that right now. For the red velvet cake hyena, I first of all wanted to like play around with the proportions more for this one, until I realized, no, it's not because that I didn't want to, it's more because that I've never drawn a hyena before, and I didn't know how to draw their body. I was struggling a lot with the head itself as well. I don't know, the proportions just look so weird to me. It went to the point that I traced the basic shapes of my reference, because I was having so much trouble with it. And normally I don't have to do that. So that just shows how much I struggled with this. I've seen many cartoon hyenas before since I watched Lion Guard and The Lion King, but I've never actually drawn a hyena before. And that kind of gives me a little surprise, because how have I never drawn these guys? How? Anyway, to the actual design, and away from my struggles, I decided to make the colors of the red velvet cake. That was a suggestion from my friend, and I was going to do that probably either way, but you know, nice to ask friends what ideas they have. I also saw in some pictures hyenas have like hair going along their backs, so I decided to make that hair into dollops of like cream, you know, because that's what they put on cakes sometimes. And also I also made the spots into like the cake texture, which goes around like the cake. I think you've already saw that before. So that's what I made the spots into. I also made the hyena have like a little strip of like cream going along their face, because like you know how bandits like hide their faces, and hyenas normally eat like scraps of foods left by other animals, like little thieves, and that's why I kind of just left that there. So yeah, I was thinking of putting like a whole like proper eye there to show, but then I realized, nah. I decided to, instead of doing that, I kind of just made like, used the cream color and made like a little fake eye. You could say it's a fake eye. I don't actually know what it is. I just thought it would look cool. You'll see that later. My thought process for this drawing was, holy fuck, this was so ugly. It was a trust the process thing. I really hated what was going on here, but at the end, the design actually turned out pretty good. I also made the hyena have a bite out of its ear, like someone is like, ew, this guy looks like red velvet cake, let me just numb. So yeah, that's why I let out a little bite there. And because, you know, this is a food themed thing, so I don't know who's taking a bite out of these guys, but someone is. I was thinking to add a strawberry, since a lot of the red velvet cake pictures I saw had strawberries included in them. I decided against it though, because I don't know where I would put it without making it look weird. So yeah, that's why you don't see no strawberries. I was very tempted though. Very tempted. While drawing, I noticed that there was like not that many colors, so I decided to use like kind of like orangey reddish color for like places like under the belly and the paws, and as you see, the snoot under the mouth. Just to add another color in there because it was looking quite plain and added some of the spice things up a little bit. So yeah. It took me a while to think if I wanted to add the little crumbs or not, but then I decided to use them. You'll see them later. But I decided to add little crumbs, and I did not outline them, only if they were going out of their shape, and it kind of gives like a cool little effect. I kind of like it. Anyway, that's it for me rambling about the speed paint. I really got nothing else to say, so just let the rest of it go on. Woohoo! You have made it to the end of the video! Wow! Welcome to the end scene. These designs I actually had really fun making this time around. I'd say I did pretty well. These will definitely look good on the menu. To be honest, the only good designs I actually made before was the French giraffe and, well, I forgot what it was called, but it was the Pepsi turtle, I think. Yeah. Those are like the only good designs I made before. And the pizza fish. So I'm glad I actually get to add something that's worthy to be on the menu. So I hope you like these designs, and which is your favorite out of all of them actually. Have a nice day and bye bye!